What's up, guys? Welcome back to Real Bucks Talk. Let's look at the New Orleans Saints. That's our week 2 matchup. We're going to break it down a little bit. What does their depth chart look like? What does it look like when they face the Bucks? It's a whole other story when they face the Bucks. So, looking at their offense, yeah, they're led by Jameis Winston. Every Buccaneer knows that. Alvin Kamara, nasty weapon. And then they're do all everything. Taysom Hill, they have him listed as a third tight end. He's our leading rusher right now, guys. And literally, he's like a buck beater. And it's a pain in my ass. But you look at the receivers, loaded. Jarvis Landry, Chris Olave, Michael Thomas healthy. They have a lot of weapons. They always have a good offensive line. So their offense is going to be annoyingly scary. But Jameis, is he going to be Mr. Interception or is he going to be safe with the ball? That's the biggest thing. Plus, go ahead.
Yeah, you said it, and this is a matchup that always gives us trouble. It's been a pain in the past couple of years, especially in the regular season. But both teams 1-0 heading into this pivotal divisional matchup. It's a key division game early, and hopefully the Buccaneers can find a way to win it. But let's take a look at the overall team. You talked about their offense. Obviously, the receiver's going to present a challenge, and the running back as well. But you look at their defense. Defense is usually the calling card for them. And against the Falcons, they kind of struggled against the run, but they still have some really good players there. Cam Jordan, Marcus Davenport. You have to worry about the linebackers. Demario Davis always comes to play, and then their secondary, Marshawn Lattimore, Tyrann Mathieu. A lot of playmakers there on the back end.
Yeah. So one benefit is, yeah, they're great players, but there's two new additions, Teram Matthew and May. Maybe they're little iffy early on, but either way, this is a very strong veteran-led defense that scares you. And then former Buccaneer Justin Evans in there playing nickelback. I loved him when he was here. He just couldn't stay healthy, and now he's back playing nickel for them. So good for him, but just not against the Buccaneers. So let's break it down a little bit more. ESPN has a good take on this. Both want to know. We're going to the Saints. Yeah. You look at this 70% chance. I don't know if I'm going to take that necessarily, even as a Buccaneer fan, but we're mentioning Taysom Hill, leading rusher, 81 yards on 4 carries and a touchdown. Yeah, he does a little bit of everything. Jarvis Landry, 7 catches, 114 yards. But Michael Thomas had 2 touchdowns, so he seems like he's Jameis's favorite target in the passing game. I mean, breaking it down a little bit more, then also the injuries. Plus, talk on this.
Yeah, I got some injuries. I mean, the injury report came out today. Nothing too concerning that I saw. The one key injury that you have to look out for the Saints is Paulson Adebo. I think he's their number 2 corner. He's got an ankle injury, and he didn't practice today. Other than that, I'm not too concerned with the Buccaneers injuries. I think the only one you have to be that will be probably out this week is Chris Godwin. I think Donovan Smith will play. He had a elbow injury. He didn't practice today, but I think he'll be ready. So, yeah, nothing too serious there on that end. All those guys should be, pretty good. But when you look at the numbers, yeah, I mean, obviously the balance of the Buccaneers offense you saw there, but it's also balance on the Saints side. Jameis had a really good fourth quarter against the Falcons and found their way to come back in that game. But then the surprising stat is the 201 rushing yards allowed by the Saints, which you don't see at all, really. They had the most games of not allowing a team to rush for over 100 yards. I think it was like 40 or something consecutively. So, really odd characteristic there. So, it'll be interesting to see if the Buccaneers can run the football.
Yeah, considering what we did last week, 33
Mhm.
carries for a great yardage. But then look at this. The Falcons said, you know what? We're not going to run the ball. We're not going to make many mistakes. 38 rushes, guys, for 201 yards, 2 touchdowns. Look at the passing. No touchdowns, no receptions. They just try to manage the game. Don't make any mistakes. Just the Saints came back at the very end and won the game. But we don't have this variable. We don't have a Mariota that can run around. Brady's not going to be doing that, guys. So can we still consistently run like they did with Cordell Patterson, who had a monster game himself? I mean, this is something they're going to be looking at. How the heck did the Falcons manage to get this huge, consistent running game going against the Saints, who's always a formidable defense? Was it the safeties are newer to the defense, not knowing what holes to plug? Was it just they found some little loophole with one of the edge rushers that weren't sealing their gap? I mean, their Bucks are going to figure this out because the secondary is really disgusting for them. And I don't know if we want to get into that throwing match, but we'll see. I mean, either way, they're going to find some loophole that the Falcons did as well.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun matchup. And again, we just wanted to give you guys a brief overview of what we're expecting this Sunday. But we're going to follow up with some more film studies on the Saints, give you some, more in depth looks at what they're going to try to present and how the Buccaneers can counter them. But with that said, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Be sure to hit that like button, comment down below what you think of this matchup coming up. Are you excited for it? Are you ready to see the Buccaneers finally defeat the Saints in the regular season? Is that going to happen? With that said, until the next